Yeah, fine.
Oh, so across the street.
Yeah. Oh, there's Lovely. This would be your dad's, right? Looks like that. Even though I don't think that's First Avenue. That's my street. So this, but that's that big grassy part. And then is there?
There is no building there.
I didn't think so.
There is just a front behind that.
Yeah, that's where it is. That's what I think. Hi, Tim, how are you?
It's Monday. What is it?
I wonder if he's coming up here and he can't.
Brad said that, Brad said he just passed.
I'm
When I
okay.
said up here,
Taking it.
I just asked him and gotcha. So, I mean, if he was just getting home from work, he was like,
So, do you think we should wait for anybody that's waiting to get on the phone and start the meeting? Do you think anybody would get upset if we missed?
I
missed
emailed
the
her.
It's
I
fine.
emailed
yeah, it
her.
doesn't
We
really
got a
matter.
quorum.
If we got a quorum, it's time, it doesn't really matter.
Alrighty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can do it with music. Today, June 8th, 2020.
Forgot I had to do this.
I know.
It's been a while.
Okay, roll call. Brad?
Here.
Brett?
Here.
Annie?
Yes.
And Tim?
Here.
Todd Luckman is here, but nobody's listening yet. Well, they are.
Who cares?
And Stephanie and Dolly. And we have Dave Dunbar in the audience. Let's see. We'll adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
So,
Okay. At the end of this meeting, I want to set up a work session for within the next week or two to talk about council responsibilities. It will be mandatory. It's mandatory, it's not gonna make it. Do not meet staff here, it'll just be a work session. So we'll do that at the end of the meeting, but just be thinking about what they might work out for you.
Well, how long are you thinking?
How long would I like to have a meeting? It could be 15 minutes to half an hour.
I'm okay with doing it tonight.
We could, probably after the meeting, if that, is that allowed? We have.
Well, you don't, you just put on the agenda, discuss. That's just one person's. Yeah, discuss, council responsibilities. You can start off with that, and if you guys get bound up, then work session.
Work session is what I have. That's what I want. Okay. I've had a motion to approve the minutes in a second. All in favor? Everybody.
That was for the agenda, not the minutes.
Yeah, that was for the agenda. Did I say minutes?
yes.
Excuse me. You have to look at the minutes, please. Review them. Any changes? to the
I
minutes?
had something that I wanted to be added to where, I just wanted it to be added or elaborated on when it was saying that I asked to supervise the person. The reason why I asked that is because Dolly said that Mike was going to be under them, and he said he didn't want a manager be under anybody. And at the prior meeting, Dolly had said that Tim would be over Kezia because that was his department at the lake, which is why I suggested myself for that. So I wanted that elaborated in all of that.
Which is why when Todd made
And
those
then Todd
comments.
corrected it, so
Okay.
nobody can report to anybody except for Dolly.
Okay, so addition.
Four department heads. Yeah,
So the
or department
initial
heads, and the department heads are,
direction of Dolly for Keezier to reporting under Tim was nullified.
three,
Right.
Thanks for that, Brett.
So then those will be approved at the next meeting, right? Or can we make a motion with like that addition?
with those additions.
Just bother you with this here, Brett?
No, not at all.
So the second to approve the minutes with the additions. All in favor?
Thanks for changing it, I asked you to stop.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll move to approve.
There's a motion to approve the ordinances. Does anybody else want to go ahead and second, or should we look at it a little longer? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the oh, wait a minute, no. Tim,
Yes.
Annie,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
Any public concerns or comments? Marcia? Hello?
Having some trouble with our water up here for the last 2 weeks, and it just really came to a head the other evening. Terry called down a little after 5. He got a hold of Mike. Mike answered, talked to us, came up, touched some things, resolved our issue, and we just want to say thank you. I know if we come in with our concerns and everybody talks to you about your problems, but and Terry wants to come back in when we have understood things. So thank you.
Thanks, Marcia. We'll be sure to let Mike know.
8580-67889 is now exiting.
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
Good enough.
Oh, let's see. Does Mike have any reports? He talked, yeah, all right. We will, we're gonna mention to Mike that we would like to have some sand out at the beach, so that was the only thing I was gonna talk to him about.
He was
And-
talking to me about some other options out there.
It's more just saying, it needs to be low.
Wait,
I mean.
I was gonna ask him to
yeah.
work on it.
Well, he's got some ideas in mind already.
Good.
We're talking about it, and we're talking about putting the wall back.
Hmm.
We've lost a lot of real estate off of that beach
Oh.
because we took the wall down.
Mhm.
And man, them kids only have a few feet now, and it's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, there's no solution to it.
Other than put
Other
the wall
than
back
the wall
and
back, yeah.
retain it.
Yeah.
Then on the plus side, like Mike pointed out, the really light, fine sand is getting churned up in the water. It's drifting over where that tree is, and it's settling, and we've created a new beach over there. And the kids
Well,
love
that's good.
it. The kids love it because the sand is so fine. But we do need to do something to preserve what we have there, or else bait house can fall in the lake.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wanted that one from the beginning.
Okay, Stephanie?
That would be nice and not.
So yeah, I was just
Murderous.
gonna say that people have been complaining about sand at the beach, so it looks like that's covered. The only other thing I have is just discussing Carrie, and meetings. I don't know how available she will be. I know, she has kids and 7:00 Monday, so it's kind of up to you guys, what you want to do. I suggested to her maybe just having you guys record the meetings and then she can take the minutes, just like we do here. So unless someone has another option,
She show us how to run that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Say, teach her how to do that.
Yeah. Or
That way we have
someone,
a
and then
backup
I'll
just in
show
case
Mike
one
and
doesn't
then someone else. So that way we always have
Probably
kind of
show,
backup.
let's see, which one looks like she could probably handle it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me. Like, you show me twice, third
I'm
time I
gonna,
catch
I'm
it.
gonna do that.
It's pretty easy. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's a little.
Actually, Post-it notes work real well for me.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So if no one has any objections to that. That's kind of what we had talked about doing, just Carrie and I went to okay it with her and then okay with you guys. So,
If it doesn't work out, we'll readdress it in the future.
I mean, yeah.
You know?
And if anyone has any questions, obviously, about what's going on, call her. And if she doesn't know, call me. I mean, I'll be home and available. So,
Hopefully not.
or email.
Yeah.
Do what?
I said you won't be bored, that's for sure.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, email works too. So.
Yeah. All right. Anything else,
That's all I-
Stephanie?
That's what I have.
All right. Dave, you had some concerns. Did you want to bring them up tonight?
Sure. I'm basically here to try and answer any concerns that anyone has about the lake, permit office, the way things are run. Who wants to throw the first stone?
I have a question. On the inspections and stuff that we were doing because of the zebra mussel, if we're not doing it for the zebra mussel anymore, why are we still doing it? What are we looking for if we're not looking for
I
zebra
posed that
mussels?
question myself, and the answer that I got was because there's other aquatic nuisance species out there. One of them being a certain type of snail, apparently.
So it's an important thing to keep doing then?
I don't know anything about this snail.
Can it kill zebra mussels?
We could always wish.
I would think since there are other aquatic nuisances that we'd still try to, I mean, I thought we were still,
Well, then my question to that is when you have a lot of boats and stuff out there, is it a problem? I mean, has it got, I know it's been busier than all get out there, but is it spread out enough that you guys can get to them?
So when you, so let me back up a little bit. So when you say that the inspections aren't being performed, I'm not necessarily.
No, I meant, do they need to be performed? I was just
Dave,
saying,
you're the only one that got that message I sent you the other day. I haven't spoken to anybody else about it.
That's really the council's call. But to say that the inspections aren't being done isn't necessarily true. So when we're standing there, you can see the vehicles coming down the drive. You can watch them come up. There's a window right there at the back of the register. There's a camera on the beach with the screen right here. It takes a half second. What's contradictory to the way it used to be was, one was physically going out there with a pump bottle full of bleach and spraying your boat. So everybody saw that an action was being done. So they and therefore interpreted that to be a valid solution to preventing zebra mussels. Obviously, the bleach didn't do anything because now we got them.
yeah,
However, typically the way I do inspections, if I see a $60,000 wake setter boat coming down that ramp, and I can tell that every time this guy pulls it out the water, he pops it with a diaper, I'm not gonna harass him. I look at the boat, I look at the boat when it's pulling on the ramp, I look at the trailers, and if there's nothing hanging off of it, and if it looks clean, especially if I have a line of 17 to 20 boats, then I'm not gonna go out there at this point and harass anybody. I'm not gonna go out there and walk around their boat. If I can see from the drive, if I can see from the camera, if I can see from the window on the boat ramp, then an inspection is being done, whether it's just visual or I physically walk out there. If that's not the way the council wants it, then we need to come up with a better alternative.
well, I had thought that the main reason we started the inspections in the first place is because of zebra mussels. And I knew that since we had them, and I know that isn't it a charge that we charge people? And I was
It
thinking,
is, it's a
kind of, I'm just
$26
looking for a little relief for people
$26 yearly fee.
yearly. Okay.
There's also a charge for the 1 day, 3 day, 5 day boat passes, and they go up in increments of 5
Okay.
for the inspection fee. And I guess that's, we charge them, if it's a $5 or a 5 day boat pass, then it's a $25 inspection fee because we charge them 5 $1 fees for it. And the case that it was explained to me before when I inquired about it was in case they are off at night and then putting it back on, and by chance going to another lake in the meantime and coming back. here or there on the sensibility of that. But that's the way it is.
All right. Is that the only thing on the notes? Does anybody else have any other questions?
Wonder what your plans are for the future as far as next year? What's,
The way it stands now is I'm still on my original notice of this is my last year. There are a few things that could change that. I've talked about it with my wife a little bit. We're still back and forth. There's a lot to consider. There's a lot of different things that weigh on that option. One of them being the amount of money that, I don't know, I feel I've been pretty transparent with everyone on the investment that I have into that store, which is why originally I asked the council to advertise that position early, so that if there is a replacement, something to be worked out for the business and the stuff that's in there. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I got about $7,000 of my own money wrapped up through that store. The only thing the city owns in there is the Pepsi cooler, the tanks themselves, the materials to make the countertop, except for the screws, glue, and spray paint. That's mine. The city bought the square stand and the register. The iPad belongs to me, the printer belongs to me, the scanner belongs to me. So there's a lot of money that's wrapped up into that. Not a lot as far as really starting a business, but it's there. So if I decide to renew my contract or not, then there's, it's not just a here's the keys and walk away type situation at this point. I didn't walk into a turnkey business. I walked into a deficit that had to be rebuilt. So yeah, it all just depends on how the rest of the year goes.
Do you feel like now that you're retired that it's a little easier for you to be available and stuff? I would think that.
I think I'm more busy now than I was. I have been a long time.
I kind of understand that. I'm retired too.
I've been doing the opening shift for the most part. My oldest daughter is in between jobs right now with this COVID. She has been hired onto another job. It hasn't started yet. It's a traveling CNA position. So she hasn't started. So she's been working some of the hours out there in the morning, but when she's not available, I've been actually doing the openings since April 1st. So
You were telling me about the vandalism that was going on out there. Has it still continued? Like the defecations and the broken equipment and things?
it's, I don't know if it's really anything outside of the realm of considered normality. We clean up poop out of the showers at least 5 or 6 separate occasions a year. We replaced the shower curtains because they were used as toilet paper. We've replaced the toilet lids and or seats multiple times throughout the years. But you and I had a discussion one day about the broken window theory. If it's kept up and it looks nice and people keep it up and they treat it nice, but if it looks like a turd, they treat it like a turd.
Yeah.
So those bathrooms need work. Showers, I think there's been as much work done to them as they can be. Yeah. I don't know. The toilet lid that was broken the other week. It happened. I've got it narrowed down to about a 2-hour time frame that happened. And it might just have been something so simple as that flush valve on the toilet doesn't always work. Sometimes it gets stuck. So maybe somebody lifted it up to jiggle the handle and they dropped it. It could have been something as simple as that. However, it's still broken now. It doesn't have it.
So maybe in the future we do need to plan on a new, are you saying that needs to be redone? I mean, not either redone or torn down and
I
redone?
brought that up last year.
Yeah. So it's something we should plan on.
Tear it down and build both of them. The one there, the one down the road.
No,
One down
that
east.
was the goal for this year, but we have to do a road instead.
I would suggest again that if you're gonna do that, then build one that's good enough to be a storm shelter.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places for people to go out there when they're camping, and hopefully, you know, the business and the crowd that we're drawing out there in the last year, especially this year, would be a good place for them to go. And to move the showers away from the beach, so I don't have this thing snake down that thing about 5 times a year and dig out the sand, would be awesome.
Okay.
I've never understood.
That's always an issue. Another thing I'd like to bring up again, it's been brought up multiple times, but the prices for the kayaks, canoes, and paddleboards. It's the same price for a 60-foot yacht for a one-day pass as it is a kayak. It's $25 a day for a kayak.
0 horsepower, basically.
Well, if you have a family of 2, 3, 4,
We've had a family of 5 that came out one time, and it was a long discussion. They were throwing their kayaks in right there on the ramp. And I went out and talked to him, so the guy came in to pay for it and realized that, you know, him, his wife, and his 3 kids, they all like to kayak together. And once he realized it was $125, he said, no thanks, we'll never come back to this lake. So, and there's been quite a few of those. I think $25 for a kayak is a little excessive. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a kayak or a 250 horsepower boat, for one-day pass is a one-day pass. I've always been against that.
I agree. I think that it's too high. Is that something you guys would consider lowering that? I mean, it's a kayak.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an issue that we're gonna be able to solve today. I think it's
Yeah.
something we're gonna have to talk, but I agree too. And that needs to be-
Well, yeah, what do you do about all the people that caught it so far this year? So, I mean, you're.
Well, then we could always,
Good idea for
if
next
you
year.
guys decide to change for next year, then what Dave could tell people is that we've had a discussion about it. And next year, that's what it's going to be. So please come back and visit our beautiful lake. Because, I mean, while they're there, they probably enjoy the lake, the beach, and perhaps a bait chop. And
So this is my 4th year doing this, and before this year, the only time that all the electric spots have ever been booked is 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. So far, just on random weekends, not holiday weekends. All of them have booked 4 times, just random weekends already. The sales are already insane out there.
People are dying to get out.
COVID has been
Yeah.
a blessing for the lake.
It really has.
Yeah.
For some
I
things,
pulled
not
some
for
numbers
others.
Just for GWiz. So 2019, April 1st through June 8th compared to 2020, we're somewhere in the ballpark of around $9,000 more in permit sales compared to last year, same time frame. And I've got them broke down into 1-day, 5-day, non-resident, and resident. They all are across there. That's just the boating. That's not included fishing, camping, any of the other stuff. That's just the boats. Whether it's a 1-day, 5-day, or a year pass. So somewhere in the ballpark of $9,000 ahead of the same time frame, April 1st through June 8th last year.
Our shower house.
There is now granted some of that,
There you go.
some of that can be contributed to the prices going up because the prices are higher this year. We're talking what an average of 8-10% for sales, you know, about here, about there. But in the ballpark, $9,000 overall in permits. Last year we turned in somewhere in the ballpark of around 37,000, I think, for the permits. And we're already way ahead of pace from last year. It might even rival the 2016, my first year out there. We turned in 44,000 that year. So we're on pace to either be really close to that or beat it.
Dave, when the residents come in with and they apply for kayak and stuff, do you guys give them a stamp for that?
The only thing that gets a sticker, and that's set forth by the council, is the season permits. So the only people that get the stickers are the season permit. Everybody else gets on a 1-day, 3-day, 5-day. It's just a receipt and the piece that's printed off from the computer, the program.
Even a resident that,
The 1 day is a 1 day. It doesn't matter if they're resident or not.
okay.
So
Okay.
But as far as the residents, that you go around the lake and you see docks all over the place littered with kayaks. Every one of those kayaks should have stickers on them, right?
Well, you just said he
If they
did.
pay for the year pass.
That's the
Year
ticket.
pass.
And there's no way
Okay.
I can tell that. I mean, the system that the city bought, there's no way of tracking anything. You can try and research a KA number that we put in on everybody's, and you can't track it. You can't even pull up a permit number, you can't pull up a KA number, you can't pull up anything except their name. And then when you pull up their name, the only thing it populates is their address. It doesn't even pull up what you already put in.
So in other words, when they,
That's that system that we have, or whatever the
Yeah,
software.
It's a $12 box of software that somebody bought off the shelf and said, here you go.
Get them like Microsoft Access. It's just like the generic database, and then just
Yeah, Control F isn't even a functional thing.
yeah, you can just have a standard form. It's easy as hell to just search for exactly what you're looking for.
So if they lose their
so if they
piece of
lose
paper and
their,
they're
yeah. So they can say they bought it, but they lost the
I
receipt.
didn't either.
Yeah.
I know the
those-
K has had a hard time searching for anything at all. But, because I kept saying, I want to be able to search by permit number, by dock number, by name.
Yeah.
We should be able to search numerous ways.
This program's not.
No, because last year there was a boat that was loose, and you guys tried looking for it. You couldn't find it, and then I had to go
The
through
only
a
way to
stack
search is to
this
literally
big to
scroll
try
down
to find
to
that
every
piece of
line
paper.
of it, and then you find that number, and then you would have to click it.
Well, that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
We'll get a better system out there, and that would be, because I know that it was noticed that there were a lot of kayaks out there, and there was nothing on them, so it wasn't, you can't tell if they're legit or not.
I mean, there's people getting through. There's people that are, not registering the boats out there. They're residents. There's people that are dropping their kayaks on that have no pass. Tim, I missed you by 2 seconds on Saturday. I was on the way to Clay and I stopped out there, and I happened to walk in to grab some water for the road and we were going up to Milford. And so I asked the guy, I said, I know it's going to come up, so point blank, did you know you needed a pass? And he said, no, I've camped out here for years, and I didn't know you had to register kayaks. He said, I knew about the regular boats, but no kayaks. I said, okay. Well, now you know. And then once I told him the price, he walked out. But I said, where did you drop them in? He said, over at the rope swing. There's nothing I can do about that. I mean, unless I'm expected to patrol 24 hours.
You talking about the camper that was right on the other side of your truck or your camper? He pulled him out right there at the boat dock.
Out of the water?
Mhm.
Yeah, he put him in after rope swing. So there's nothing I can do about that unless I'm expected to patrol from Southbridge to rope swing.
These guys don't know anything about that conversation. I didn't, like I said, I mentioned it to you and that was it. I didn't think there was any need to.
Well,
open
and
that
Tim,
can
I
of
saw
worms.
them in those nice pictures you sent me. I saw those kayaks. I didn't see any stickers on them, so that's why I was asking.
The picture that I sent you was of,
A pontoon and some four kayak.
oh yeah, yeah, that's another issue.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Several
another.
issues ago.
The what?
And this isn't anything that had anything to do with the
No,
bait
no.
area.
It's just what you're talking about is the fact that some people haven't quite kept their registrations up like they should.
People that are sending in applications wanting us to do stuff, but they haven't even so much as numbered their dock.
Good times.
But anyway, do you have any other concerns or what, Brett?
He was mentioning the time has come and gone for them to have numbered their docks. Didn't we give them a deadline and it's come and gone?
Yeah, she said it. There was one, Mike came in, Mike, real nice guy. He's on the fire department. Gil. And, he'd gotten, and he'd put letters on there or numbers on there on the wrong side, well, on the lake side. And then he came in and said, I reread that and I need to have it on the shoreline side. He said, I'll go get them, but why do you need to do that? And I said, well, if we're coming from the shoreline and looking, inspecting things, then we can see that dock belongs to you. And he went, well, that makes sense. And then he went over to lumberyard and got them. So it was an easy question to bring up and then to maybe say something so that people realize that that's why we want it on both sides. There's reasons for what we do. Not just to be giving them things to do, but it identifies their dock so we can put it with the property.
Circling back to the kayak thing, how much of a pain in the butt would it be? I know that there'd be an adjustment to software if we change the price, and doing that mid-year, I don't know how that affects things, but with that said, how easy is that would that be to make it retroactive at the beginning of the year, refund somebody if they paid for a kayak for a yearly pass or whatever, or have some 5-day pass that's still in effect or something, to refund them the difference between the new price and the one that's on the books right now.
Honestly,
and then
probably the easiest
pass
way
it
to
on to
find
us
those
to-
people was to physically flip through
All
the
those
printed off
pages
pages
you
rather
give
than
me.
work that cumbersome program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which really wouldn't be that big of a toll. I mean,
Yeah.
Am I confused?
I personally,
I don't know.
probably flip the pages of that program because I hate that thing.
Because then I would issue the
What?
checks.
Then,
So you're volunteering to
Yeah.
flip through the pages, right?
from the hours of 6 in the morning till 1, typically when I work, there's not a whole lot else going on after stuff is picked up and the register is cleaned out and shelves are restocked.
Great.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you do the checks, but Dave does, Dave turns in money. So if he issues out, a $15 refund, then he gives you $15 less and tells you that, hey, I've shortened you $15 because I paid it out of the register or whatever. That's
That one.
just
Be
an
easier.
idea on my part, but that would at least, because I mean, that's kind of, when you lay it out like that, it's kind of a shitty way to do things.
Probably the most monumental thing on that would be how to actually contact me, because in the program you only put in their address. So unless you're getting ready to lick a stamp and put it on everything, there's really no way else to contact somebody.
Yeah. Are there a lot of those just kind of off the top of your head, or there's quite a few? Yeah.
And I don't
So
think
1 day
it
passes
says,
total. Done this year.
Dave, it doesn't say kayak on there either, does it? Doesn't it say just like
No,
floating?
one day boat is 1 day boat.
Yeah, and then it says like
So,
if it's a pass, it's like
good
a
point.
floating non-motorized.
Good point. We don't know what is
What?
a boat 1 day pass and what's a kayak 1 day pass.
I'm still curious what the capacity to the lake is. How many things can be on the water at once?
Does it ever seem like we're
150?
overcrowded, Dave?
500?
It's a small lake, but you really got to try to crowd that up. I mean,
I don't think I've ever.
I mean, like
seen
4th of
this,
July
but 4th of
gets,
July is
pretty intense, but
That's because they got
Which
something to
is
see.
correct.
Yeah.
Like if you lower the kayaks, you're gonna have a ton more kayaks out there on top of. So what is the capacity? Because we know people drink the entire time that they're on the boats out there. So you have drinking and driving, kayakers, skiers, jet skiers. What is the capacity to the lake? Do we find out after there's an accident, or do we stay on top of it before there is an issue? I mean, I've asked this question before and I've never ever got a response, nor any direction of any which way I could go to try to figure it out.
What,
So I
well,
posed
why,
to ask
you're
it
trying
again.
to limit the amount of kayaks that we have
No,
on there?
safety wise, what is you have a capacity of how many people can be in your building at the store. I'm assuming that on a lake that small, you would have to have a capacity. So if there's 240 houses out there and everybody's out there, can you have 240 houses with jet skis, skiing, kayaking, and all of that? Todd?
If it would be a state law, but I don't know. I've never heard of anything like that.
I don't know. Some of it would be self-limiting because,
And that's fine if there's no capacity.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a whole lot better.
Well, I'm gonna
But if
tell you
there
right
is-
now that, in the past, Mary Reed and all those guys said that a lot of times what they do is they just don't go on the lake at certain times of the day, especially on the weekends, because they depend on the week for them to enjoy the lake. Although it's been busy because of the Kona thing, a lot of people are on there, a few more people, I don't know if a lot, but there's more people out there right now using the lake. I went by there the other day though, and there did not look like a very large crowd. If we get a problem with that, then we can, I don't know who you would talk to, and I don't know that we have to worry about limiting it. I don't think there's that many people that have kayaks, but maybe they do.
When my mom and dad lived down in the Ozarks, we went to the 4th of July show,
Mhm.
and we went out
Oh,
on the lake.
4th of July.
We went out on the lake on the Ozarks there
Mhm.
on that 4th of July night, and there was a boat every 10 feet as far as you could see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, It was
But
just-
that's
it was
4th of July,
absent.
though.
But what I'm saying is that they didn't have the rules. They
Yeah.
didn't have a limit. They didn't have it. I mean, you couldn't. start
Was
to go
everybody
late.
being careful though and kind of creeping around and
Yeah,
everything?
once you anchored, you were done, because you couldn't leave.
Yeah.
There was no way out until the show was over.
Like traffic without a
Yeah.
road.
I mean, it was,
Sounds like Shawnee.
Maybe we should do that turn by the hour.
No, that would be difficult.
Look like an Uber driver.
Yeah.
Use rates, man, they just went up. It's by the hour today. Like,
Have you ever tried researching it, Brett, to see if there's anybody that has an idea about sizes of lakes and capacity?
No, I can do that. I'm not the lake rep, but I can do that. Yes.
I do know that that's what
you have a
the
software
residents.
suggestion? Because I just tried to search and found nothing.
We're looking at specify
There
right
goes this
now.
can of worms. So the Square system, actually, there's a way to do it on the Square system. That's the program that I use out there to charge everything else, barcodes, all that stuff. You can actually put in customers and build all of their stuff. The other one that's really great is reserveamerica.com.
Yeah.
That's the one that every other campsite in the world uses to track their camping reservations.
Right.
And it's a whole program to where you can put anything you want on it and not just reserve campsites. It's been brought up a few times.
Has it got some sizable fee or something? Or is it?
I think it did, but they came up with
$1,000
different
up
plans.
front, $50 a month maintenance fee. Now they changed it. There's another company that bought it out. They made it bigger. They changed it to where last I checked it was something like
It looks a lot better.
they get in a certain percentage per credit card swipe per reservation.
Astra.
But was that, and I know you and I have talked about this, so kind of trying to repeat some of that. I know it had a way of entering stuff manual, so somebody could still walk into the bait shop and get a permit, get taken care of right there, but or campsite or whatever. But did that charge a fee when you did it that way? And was that?
No,
It seemed like it didn't.
forgive me if I'm wrong. It's been a minute since I talked to the representative, but I think that if it was just a manual type in, pay for cash, they get nothing.
Yeah.
If they reserve online, put in a credit card, when that credit card is used, then the company gets a certain fee, like 3% or whatever the total cost. I think.
Which
it's
we're
still-
reimbursing you for Square right now.
But the way
If that's
that
all
would be-
handled there.
Yeah, the way that would be set up is that would be awesome because everything goes through that itself. So everything would go straight into the city's account instead of the through line to the city. So
Yeah.
everything would be two completely separate systems, which, I mean, it works the way it is now.
Yeah.
But
Yet you're still able to log in if somebody's like literally booking the thing like 5 minutes before somebody shows up, they're still able to get theirs. Yeah. I mean, to me, that sounds like a good idea. And I mean,
last year and this year would have been ideal. I mean, all the other lakes, we were the only show in town last year. All the other lakes were flooded. There was nothing camping open. And a lot of the lakes this year, the flood damage is so bad that they're still shut down. So the way the program works is if you're sitting over at Council Grove Lake and you want to camp and they're booked or they're closed, you type in, find me a spot, and it does a 50-mile, 100-mile radius and it shows you all the open campgrounds. But then again, you come back to the possibility of overpopulation of this lake.
but in a year not like this one, with its special circumstances, might be a good thing to look at. I know we've talked about it several times, and I come out thinking, God, we should have acted on that. And, I personally like to. But I don't know you guys' thoughts on that.
I agree.
That's from the guy that's
What
brought it up
are we
multiple
talking
times.
about? You're talking about what you're talking about now, which is the,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if we're only out a swipe fee for people that, a good portion of those people are, maybe don't know about the lake anyway, and, they're paying a fee, which right now we're paying a Dave anyway, unless it's like just a hefty swipe fee, unless it's like, 10% or something, but
Well, Justin, if you feel it's a good idea, make a motion.
I wanna
and-
I
And
wanna
then it
go to the
belongs to the
website and
city,
find,
right?
make sure I find the site. Maybe I can while we're
Looks
talking.
pretty good.
If you find the site and there's actually, you gotta search for it a little bit, it's not.
Actually, if you go to reserveamerica.com, then you go to the top, there's a little link that just
Are you
says
concerned about the
campground software.
Oh, okay.
It's called Astra.
Kids, really, I mean, like you said, there's some drunk kids
You
out
can do
there,
a free demo.
8-year-olds on it,
Oh, really?
too.
Yeah.
There's always
I would
the-
say this is a lot better than the Reserve
so
America I
far
used a
this
couple of
year,
years
it's
ago.
Oh, yeah.
So whoever bought them out,
I would
it's
say
a big
90 to
deal.
95% of the
Does it
time.
solve the tracking issue on boats and where they're at?
I don't know, I can't see anything on voting, but maybe there
No,
is.
that's on our end.
I don't know. It really just for campgrounds. I mean, anything, you could have 2 boats out there, something could happen, obviously.
Brett, I'd be glad to call Wildlife and Park and see if I can find out any information.
I will.
You will? Did you let me
Even though
know?
you're not the lake rep.
Well, she
No,
asked
no, no,
me to,
he's
I said I
part,
will.
he's part of the council and any council person can work on anything. And if you're, this is something you're interested in, I'm sure that we'd all appreciate anything you can get on the feedback for it. I just
Absolutely.
wanted you to know that I would be glad to help.
So I guess you have to plug it on.
Yeah, I mean, if we have that like solid, I mean, I would make a motion. That's the only thing that stopped me. Just knowing the exact swipe fee price, and I don't want to get us into something that, you know,
Yeah.
no, they're taking half of it every swipe. Well, that's no good.
Yeah, I don't remember 100% what the fees actually were.
Is that something that we could talk about at the next meeting, which
Yeah,
would be,
The lake meeting.
lake meeting?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
All right.
Okay, guys.
yeah, let's.
Anything else for me?
Do you want kayaks lowered only, or were there other boats in there, I guess was
My only thing was
question.
about the kayak thing. I know that there's a lot of families that do that, plus my daughter, that loves to do kayaking and stuff like that, and that, it would
We
be
talking like
prohibitive for her to put
one-person
25.
vessels,
Yeah.
non-motor.
Non-motorized kayaks, not just kayaks, but non-motorized.
Non-motorized.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I always thought it
Yeah.
was ridiculous what we charge for kayaks and paddle boards anyway.
Now we did the inspection fee and all that. Yeah, the inspection fee, that's rolled into that 25, right?
So it's 20 and then the 5
25, okay.
for one day.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I'd still want to retain that ability for like a sailboat or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know how you can define kayak and all that. I
There's
mean,
small vessel and large vessel.
yeah,
The definition, anything over
The sail,
17 feet is a large vessel, or 12 feet, you know, even for like a, I guess that's not gonna be motorized.
yeah.
the sailboat
Human
can,
powered and I don't know.
was the sailboat
Yeah.
considered a personal watercraft?
I don't.
So I think kayaks and paddle boards are classified that way.
I don't think you could get a sailboat on that lake with that boat ramp.
Of course, there's 2 people kayaks.
I was saying, do people sail? Like,
Of course, we could always spell it out.
That's such an odd thing to do.
Non-motorized, excluding kayaks and paddle boards.
Yeah, and then just say kayaks and paddle boat.
I mean, I know the lake real estate's gone up, but I don't see any sailboat type people.
We had sailboat people on there a few years back then. I remember seeing them.
Catamaran's are cool.
Yeah.
Catamaran.
What?
Next to their yacht.
Yeah.
Never seen a
You just sail in a circle. Just
Oh, yeah.
see.
It used to be.
No.
Jerry Childers had
It's
one.
like riding a motorcycle, you know, they ride around.
They would come up here.
I guess. I'd want a bigger lake to sail on.
Yeah.
Driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get stranded,
All right.
it won't take long to get down the other end.
All right, all
I'll be
right.
stuck there.
We're gonna be here all night.
So are we gonna do something about kayak pricing, or we're gonna wait till next year, what are we gonna do? And as far as inspection on a kayak, what is the inspection, to make sure that, what? Kayak is a sliver of nothing.
We still look for the same thing you want, motorized boat, hanging moss, zebra mussels stuck to the outside that also carry the snails, whatever.
When I call the wildlife and parks, I'll ask them if they think that we need to be inspecting for aquatic nuisances.
And if they say yes, say specifically what
Yes, please.
nuisance.
Yeah.
We wanna know what it looks like. Well, thank you, Dave.
I also want to know
Thanks
what
for your
the
time.
revenue loss
bet.
on
Thank
that
you.
is too, as well as getting back on for
I'm not a fan of giving back any refunds.
I think you could just
People bought their
move forward,
their
yeah.
permit knowing what else. My biggest problem with the Reserve America thing,
No refund.
and I've said this every other time it's been brought up, a great part of what we pay the caretaker or the permit office person for is permits.
Yeah.
And if they can get the permits on this, then really what we're paying that person for is keep the bathrooms clean. And they're supposed to clean up trash from A to B. What else?
From spillway to,
We pay
They'll have to
Dave,
check
I believe, a ridiculous, embarrassing large amount. I think it is, kudos to him for getting the contract. I am embarrassed by what we pay for somebody to use our building to sell their products out of.
I think he does more than that, though. I mean, he manages the,
I thought you did a lot of work last year.
Yeah.
For it.
which that would have been a good thing for you to stay in front of him. So he
I
could
have,
answer.
I have before. Are you thinking I didn't?
Yeah.
Well, I think you were here.
I think for one thing, I mean, it's a convenience thing when you're on there, and I realize that's his own business, like you're saying, but just to have the ability to go in there and get stuff while you're on the lake, have it all right there, it is nice. I realize that is his own enterprise that he's selling pop and candy and all that good stuff. But I'd throw that in there, but and I was going somewhere else with that too.
You would still
Well,
have
don't
to,
misunderstand me.
you would
derailed.
still have
But
to check in. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
Check in,
say
and
that the
somebody
person
has
is not needed.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
and a
saying that
person
at
has to
all.
be paid for their time to
yeah,
be out there for a long time, all day long.
yeah, sun
if he-
up, sundown, and all that. I mean, that's you break it out to hourly, and it's not a whole. I think we did that too.
Yeah, we
when
did.
we were working with the contract way back when, but.
Can't believe
You know,
that.
I know that, I don't know, we didn't make as much money when the people before was doing that, whether that was driving business away or anything
we
else.
also
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
any improvements for the prior people. Because they asked for every improvement that has been made and it was not given.
None of them were being done.
Really? Okay.
And we've done nothing but fix things up for the last several years.
Okay,
Well, I mean, the bathroom would be another step, but again, I mean, it's a needed amenity. You're out there camping, when you gotta
Well,
go.
I do want to repeat, I do not think that we should not have a person out there.
Yeah.
I just think that he had very good bargaining powers when he haggled the price out of
Presented
us.
a pretty good front. I remember him coming in.
all right.
I guess we'll
Um,
see what the next person wants to bid with.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's see what kind of quality person you get too. Make it cheap. All
It's a
right,
bid job, isn't it?
It's what?
Isn't it always in the history of Eskridge been a bid job, the lowest bidder?
I would call it an offer package, but you know,
It's a bid job, but we're not bound to take the lowest bid.
exactly.
Which, by the way,
We-
people have been asking how they can apply, and I just say, give a proposal to the council. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And isn't the contract public knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Contract,
if they want to see the
See.
contract and see what kind of ideas,
It's on the
because
record.
I want them to know right up front what their requirements are, cleaning from the East Bridge to the spillway, whatever.
Yeah, there's only been,
Houses and
I think,
cleaning
2
the
people that
bathroom.
have asked, and I just said blanket statement, just proposed to the council, and then that was it, so.
Yeah, it's in our best interest to get this done. I don't know if Dave's interested. He sounded more on the fence than I thought he was. I thought it was just a no.
So did I.
So, yeah, so I don't know.
I should have asked while he was in here, but are all the campsites marked with a post and a number? Somebody told me they were, and
They
then
weren't.
I've heard.
They were, now they're not, right? 'Cause I
Well,
didn't see
the
any.
primitive sites that are closer to the East Bridge, there's a little wing dinker that has a number up on top of it, and stick with a circle on the number.
Like the kind you don't want to back off the edge of your driveway.
Yeah, that's,
Those
I call them wing dinkers.
kind of.
Now, that's something else I want to ask you guys. What do you guys think about going down to the primitive area? People pulling their camper down onto the grass and then throwing a generator beside it And then now they're camping there with a camper where it's kind of designed as tents.
Well, you wouldn't be allowed
Is
to
it
do
an
that in other
issue?
campgrounds.
Yeah, it's primitive, but it's kind of not. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, if
I
you don't
wouldn't-
have the infrastructure for the
Generator
camper to sit
running
there.
all.
We don't have gravel.
There's no gravel, you shouldn't be staying there. You wouldn't be allowed in any other campground, I guess is what I'm saying,
To do that.
to do that. No, because you're killing everything there. Tents are the only thing
Is that-
allowed I've
well,
known of.
is that
On
done a lot?
grass.
I've been seeing it done, yeah. I've spent a lot more time out the lake than I ever have before.
Well,
I've
then,
been
when they
seeing
come
it.
in, what are they getting? They shouldn't be getting camping.
We've had all kinds of,
Well, they're paying for a primitive
Forever.
site, but then they're putting a camper down there.
but if we're
They're
gonna
parking
like,
it right on
glass
the
it up, like,
grass.
let's.
Some of them right up close to the water's edge.
See,
Now,
I
granted,
told
one
you
of
guys
them's
I wanted to
years.
develop that area, and we never did.
Well, and the other thing is, a
Shouldn't
lot
we
of,
still have
as she
gravel
was saying, a
for
lot of the other.
Oh, no, yeah.
No, primitive is primitive, and I like it.
Primitive is though, but you're still supposed to have a parking space, aren't you? To not damage the area. People drive out there.
And see, that's the other thing I was gonna mention. A lot of the other lakes, even in the, the power sites, when you park, you have to have two wheels on the gravel.
Yeah.
They tell you, 2 cars per site, 2 wheels on the gravel. Man, we got people parking lot out in the grass. We've never enforced that either.
There's a maximum amount of vehicles allowed on each site, right? Don't we have these rules too?
At other sites, we don't have anything like that.
Well, we should.
Now,
Yeah,
now with the argument of the 2 wheels on the gravel, when those electrical sites that are on the east end, the electrical box is on the wrong side of the gravel. So you gotta pull in first with your truck out there on the grass, detach your camper, and then drive around the grass, pull your truck back around. And, everybody's afraid it's gonna storm. You're gonna get your truck stuck in the mud trying to get your camper.
We
out.
just did that too, didn't we?
Yep.
Just put those gravel pads down.
We
by
put the
those-
gravel down, but yeah, it's not where the gravel was placed, it's where the electrical box was placed way back whenever they were put in. You just put it on the wrong side. I mean, if you
to cut
pull,
you guys off, but we got other stuff to
Let's-
discuss.
Yes.
And these are things, that sounds like a work session, Tim, because you got some good ideas that we need to correct and some, maybe we do need to redesign and have some rules out there. And it sounds like Andy and you guys know a little bit more about
We
camping
need to
rules.
take a trip out and have a real think about it because it sounds more.
I'd be happy to meet you out there anytime.
I'm down.
All right. 416
I'll just
East
say
First
okay.
Street structure permit.
So if you look at it, they're wanting to put a fence. Looks like it is extending from like 6 feet tall.
And this is behind the lumberyard. That's the address that Annie looked up for
Yeah,
it.
where is
Was
this at? 'Cause I
for
was-
behind the lumberyard.
Well, it's gonna be on First Street, but it's down, not right
Because when
behind the
she looked
lumberyard.
the address up, it directed it right behind the lumberyard.
416 East First.
Well, it was
Street.
to the.
Hmm.
It's gotta be wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
down
it's
by
closer
their
to-
place.
Well, he's talking about the pasture and the
If you looked it up on
corral fence.
Google, it's probably not right.
Yeah,
because-
it's gotta be wrong. It was a real design.
Yeah,
This
where's
is the
that?
side behind his house.
so I wish I had a tablet. There you go. God.
Where is it?
It's gonna be,
There's a little here, right?
yeah, no, it's gonna be first.
So that means what, like a foot and a half
Our
between them?
streets are still up. Let's see.
The corral fence,
It's gonna be one of these.
like a split rail, but
Or,
that
yeah.
means, or
Is it
I-
right?
This is
Oh,
just
because
like-
this is a
Honestly, I
GIS.
don't know.
No, this is-
Um,
Think of GIS.
Sorry.
Like the white picket
Is it where
fences
they
that you
live
see, I don't know.
Where they live? Well, that's what I need to see. I don't know if it's where they live or where the place that they bought, but they're. I mean,
I had broadcast on at the house, thought maybe I could help answer some questions.
I just cut them off, so now we gotta go back to it.
She won't let us talk about it anymore.
Well, to the point of the campers with, out electric and their generators, that you as a council put on there a special price for campers on electric. So if they're not in the electric camp spots, then where are they supposed to go with the camper?
Good question.
It's always been, you guys are allowed to pull your camper into the primitive area.
That was probably not thought of.
So that's, I mean, it's,
Well, I wanted to take a general consensus on that idea as well, which, what I was trying to point out is people pulling their campers down off of the little gravel strip, which I realize isn't much of a gravel strip.
Better.
But,
Yeah, we don't care.
a couple weekends I was out there and there was campers down by the the cedar pine, whatever trees,
Yeah.
just on this side of the cattails here. If people are cool about it and they're only down there when it's not wet, but you know, you can't always plan on Kansas weather. But I don't have a real big deal with like a little pop-up. That's what it was down there, is one of those tent camper kind of things.
Well, he owns it.
I wanted to know what everybody else thought about it.
So,
20-foot camper and a generator down
No,
there.
it's not on.
No, it's over by the grass, it
You'll
looks like
have
to me.
a whole lot of campers down there with generators and grass.
Yeah, yeah.
But to the point of, you know, just on the grass down there, whether they're on the ledge site number 10, on the new electric sites, when you have
This is
gravel,
416.
They have the house
Grass.
next door too.
and those are
Right.
50 and 30 amp, so.
Well, we want to put gravel there. We need somebody to draw out where the gravel's gonna go and then we'll put it. Just
Do you
have to have
guys
that
wanna
out there.
develop that meadow that's just sitting there and not doing anything?
To the, what is that, north?
To the
To the-
north of the lodge, the east
I was
of
just
the
thinking the
lodge.
same thing, but I was always just thinking like, you know, if we poured resources or whatever into it, I didn't know that it would ever really take off. I mean, you're not really right by the lake, that, hell, maybe it would, but
Well, I'll tell
maybe.
you
If that's developed, that's the last piece of anything around the lake. Every other stitch of everything will be developed if
There
that
you go.
gets
Yeah, well, you
developed.
should have someplace to put your pop-up
Just-
camper with a generator.
the way you list.
And you
electric
lose
on
the
July,
quaint
it's
country-
about 20 deep.
It's not my idea.
And I stopped writing down names.
Yeah.
So we open April 1st, 6 o'clock in the morning. By 6:05, the phone was ringing. By the 10 o'clock, April 2nd, all of the electric sites were booked for 4th of July, which I'm surprised it actually made it to the second day. But to your comment, Dahlia, I would say that if you're going to develop anything, then you should probably go down towards the pines where the primitive is now, because the sewer system's already been laid.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I
There's
think
a
you could
pit
do more
there
in
now.
that space anyway.
There's electric down there.
Anyways.
Well, that sounds like an idea.
Okay.
Development on the
bake
east
shop or-
side.
Yes,
Okay.
towards East Bridge.
Okay.
One of Dave Neatfelt was bailing out with a little tiny bucket, that sewer.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Oh, yeah, I drove by. Poor guy.
To the point of the price of my contract, I'm curious what an obscene amount of money is that I was paid for that.
How much more you get paid than what the last person does?
$125 a month.
A month more, that's all?
$125 more a month than Mona made, and the most she ever turned in was $34,412.51.
Well, that's kind of a difficult thing to compare because last 2 years we've had very irregular circumstances. Last 3 years with the drought, the flood.
All of my
COVID.
years that I've done it, I've turned in more than she did in the 10 years she had it. I make it $125 more a month than she did.
Well, I'll have to go back and look at those numbers then, Dave. I apologize. I thought that you made an obscenely more amount of money than what she does. Apparently, I'm not correct in that.
I wanted to double check on that myself too, so I've got them printed off here. I've got her last contract and mine right here if you'd like to see it. But I checked and it's $125 more a month.
Then I'm wrong.
Well, I'm glad you heard that, Dave, to get that straightened out, because I wouldn't want this to, because I remember working that out. I don't remember it being, of anybody being upset with the contract at the time. I don't know. So,
I'm always the cheapskate, so
yeah, but that's all
I know
right.
that.
You always gotta have that conservative person there.
always gotta have the conservative. You're absolutely
That's
right.
right. It's a good balance. Sometimes.
When there's a balance.
I was gonna saying, I don't know if this is a real bounce table.
Back on 416 yet?
Did you find it?
Yeah, we can show you on that map too.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
You guys done with
See
that?
on,
Yeah.
Thank you.
see where First Street is there?
Go the one that
West,
goes
go west. See, yeah, go way west, way west. Not that far. Yeah, see where
Right
that,
there.
go
I
a
think
little
his
bit.
house is
Yeah, well, no, just see where that loop drive is that you're pointing
Yeah.
to?
It's the next.
No, next one to the right,
That's where they used to live.
and then the
And
next
it's
one.
The new one.
And then that one, right there.
Carolyn Zerby's house.
Yeah.
So they're wanting to put it between the complaint and them because that's their neighbor is the one that complained
Was
About
your
the
neighbor
grass.
complaining about something else?
about the grass and the
about the grass,
weeds and thistle brush.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like there's.
Carolyn Zerby's, and then that's the
The
Mhm.
letter owns all of those. it says.
We're using old school.
Yeah, he owns some
Well, and I have
yes,
a
he owns
area.
that the house he lives in, the tiny one next to it, and then I believe the next one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but their
House, yeah.
kids live in that.
It's Yates, right?
Yates doesn't own it anymore.
Yeah,
It's
he sold
now
it.
the
Well,
Donna
Wall.
which
Walsh.
is
Donna
it?
Walsh.
I mean, depending on who.
Still shows on the
County.
this county is Yates.
Maybe they're, well, maybe they're rent to own or something.
So yeah. they're
Well, all
wanting
right,
to-
my question about, oh, that's 416 and they want to put it there. And they, what?
a corral fence.
Is there a reason why we should have a problem with it?
Split
Well, I think-
rail.
I think they're just saying,
6 foot high. I got a split
I
rail,
think
6
the
foot high.
corral fence is behind.
I think that it's already,
Yeah, that's just
Like
so that
that's
you
already
know.
there.
they haven't
Yeah.
drawn it.
Yeah, they're just telling you where the corral
This
fence
is
is and
where
trying to give you an
somebody
idea
else
where the
is.
fence is gonna go.
All we've got is fence metal,
Metal, what does that
40 feet
mean? That could be barbed wire, couldn't it?
6 feet tall. Could it?
Why couldn't it?
Unless they're gonna get kangaroos or
T-post
something.
and barbed wire is metal fence.
Can't have barbed wire sitting in this man.
No. I think they would call it.
Illegal.
Probably have.
So we're talking chain link fence.
That's great. Just barbed wire like everywhere. I'm surprised we don't have a main street.
Seriously.
It's not gonna stop that.
Just the
Where do you
uniform,
think
I'm
you
just
are?
saying, uniform public events code, that's all I'm saying. Well,
And
they took it out of
other towns
Auburn and they have just
restrict
one place with goats in it. You
aesthetic
guys
appeal
gotta,
of it.
you guys gotta change that too.
We do that here. We should. Like you said, you would
Okay.
like to treat ours and treat like here. So we've got to do it.
Let's see, 12 foot. How much was it?
Is there a reason why we should have a problem
I
with
have to blink. but
I
then-
guess
Oh, that's just telling you
That's
the
just- yeah, I don't
property.
It looks like there's already a fence there in the back.
In the back.
There is,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So they just wanted to change the fence type. I mean, that looks like 140 also. So
That's 1 foot behind sidewalk. Is that good?
I measure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sidewalk is
sidewalk
easement.
doesn't matter, I don't think, does it?
Well, depends on where the right of way is, remember?
I thought it was like however many feet back from the center of the street.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you, the center line of the street, you measure the width of the street. I don't know where the sidewalk is. You can see it here.
It's probably
Regular. Yeah.
probably hard to see on.
Did you say regular
Right
sidewalk?
by dirt.
Non-existent. That's what kind of sidewalk it is.
Uh,
So you can see the surveyor twink in there.
it doesn't cross the sidewalk.
No,
No.
it's a foot behind.
That's okay.
We must have really missed these face-to-face meetings.
We
We're
are
gonna make this a
trying this
4-hour
hard.
meeting is what we're gonna do here.
Is there any
I think
objection?
We love each other so
Because
much.
nobody can pick up. All
I'm not
right.
changing my idea. Have that work session.
Let the man build a fence. I think they just want to separate their property from their neighbor.
Good fences make good neighbors.
And I think that's what the idea is about.
Todd's really
I'll
enjoying
second it.
I move to approve.
Tim seconded it.
The fence
All
at
in
416.
favor of the motion to allow Mr. Nutter to put up a fence?
Yes. You're done.
That is unanimous.
Okay.
Unanimous.
And then, strangely enough, the next one.
Purple flower.
Same property you just looked at.
Okay, about that complaint, he has a lot of land there. It used to be a pasture, but now he's bought up that land. So do we let people that have a lot of land, do they have to also mow it? Joe mows half of our brome, and we used to bale it, but now he mows it. I think he likes to mow though, that's why he mows it.
Is that the element? This complaint is.
No, it's just, no, I don't.
Strictly purple flowers. It's a special circumstance. I mean, you wouldn't mow all 20 acres. I mean, that's.
Yeah, yeah, everybody's in the city limits,
Shoulders
they do,
off.
that's,
He's
well, I
not,
mean,
he's not gonna use it for pastures or anything.
I mean, as far as,
And so-
well, yeah, I know what you're talking
Are all
about,
20 acres of her property in city limits?
Is it 20 acres or 9?
Oh, I thought you said you had 20, so that's why I was
Oh,
saying.
me, no,
Yeah, it is
yeah,
right, it's
back
an
in the
noxious
day,
weed.
no.
Okay.
and it's gotta be killed.
So
Yeah,
we
but-
still mow all our property.
So
No,
we
but
need to send a letter to
you
tell them
buy
to
and
cut their grass?
are where
Is that what we need to do?
obviously-
Well,
Take
but,
up
I mean,
and
cut
it's
your grass.
the obnoxious
Yeah.
weed, you're supposed
Yeah.
to kill it.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
actually thistle.
That's what he and I just spoke.
Yeah.
So do we need to make a motion for them?
We don't, I mean, well, isn't the public officer, that's public officer?
Well,
They have no
that's why I'm
public
asking,
Good
if this is gonna be a pasture that's gonna be baled, will we leave it alone? And I can go ask Mr. Nutter if he's gonna bale it.
Doesn't
I-
sound-
I
You
would-
can ask
I would-
him that, but if it's prickly purple things or thistle, he has to remove them.
Yeah, that's
That's a
noxious
county
weed.
thing, isn't it? Yeah, noxious weed, there you go.
Purple weed. Yeah, he has to get rid of the thistle.
Yes, if another property owner, notifies him, he should be doing that.
We've already made a decision then.
I mean, yeah, you're supposed to be doing
That
that.
decision was made over our heads.
Not even the
actually.
city,
Yeah.
it's like
I mean,
state.
Okay, so then,
Add cedar trees to that.
Yeah.
Are they noxious? Are they
Supposed to be, yeah.
Yes, they
Supposed to
are.
kill them out. In
Yeah.
fact, I think there's a grant available to kill them.
are they still talking about this?
Cedar trees.
It's not a big one.
My dad owns the rest, pulls his up by the
My
root.
dad said he's gonna buy handsaw for everybody in our family, including the kids, just to cut them all out of
I'm
there.
cutting 3,000.
Oh, there's at least 100.
And we got 80 acres out that we have to clear out every 4 years.
Okay, so.
So about this complaint,
So this
I
is
wanna know,
If
Yeah,
it's
it's a letter.
behind, if it's behind all the other properties on there, I mean.
do you remember
if
where
it's
Carter
pasture-
Brock had her horses? That's what we're
Yeah, I
talking
know
about.
whereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, and but I don't think it's ever been baled. So if they're not, if they're not gonna bale it, then I expect they have to mow it. We need to get a great big mower.
But does he have enough acres to have, he has enough acres to have a goat or
Which is
whatever?
why I could question him and ask him if he's gonna put critters out there and put up a fence, not barbed wire.
The property's there, but we're talking about the,
Yeah.
just to the north. I mean, I could, just going back, kind of even with everybody else's property lines and kind of let this one go a little bit more. I don't know. I wouldn't think you'd mow the whole damn thing
Cause
myself.
the city has a pasture within the city. We own a pasture that gets baled.
Yeah.
The city does. And then so does my neighbor who used to live there. Has a pasture that's baled by Mr. Hughes.
Yeah.
And there was a huge barn on that property, wasn't it? They just tore that
Yeah,
down.
they brought it down and grandma's
I'd say
house.
if he's going to put
And grandma's
something on it, that we wouldn't
So you
require.
want me to
As long as there's no
research?
noxious weeds on there.
Noxious weeds.
It already has a fence kind of around it,
He
so.
should be doing that. It's not really our jurisdiction to tell him to do so, I wouldn't
Yeah,
think.
well, I mean, anything is a common law nuisance, so we can surprise him with it. At the end of the day, we want him to remove, we don't want to go on there.
So,
Okay.
Alex,
We
you're talking-
Yeah.
can make the,
Because that's what
Person.
our next step would be, is if he doesn't do it, then we keep detailing somebody.
Well, knowing Mr. Nutter, I think that he will give me a real good answer on that.
I agree, but to appease Donald Walsh, I believe that we should at least let him know that he needs to eliminate this noxious
Cause there's,
plants. and-
well, that's part of what I'll talk to him about. Because, yeah, if he's not gonna bail it, then, okay. So now we go back to
Oh,
hot.
whoops, sorry, yeah.
You need to look at the,
That was my fault. You guys got two more, actually.
okay.
Mowers or?
Oh, yeah, we haven't got
Mowers.
mowers.
Application for,
These were in the door when we got here.
Oh,
You get-
I think I'm missing one.
we need
Christopher.
no. Oh, Shane. Ready.
I mean,
Is that the one that I gave you right on the floor?
yes.
Did you get everybody?
I just got the one.
You need. I got those. So I don't need either.
Christopher and Shane.
Shane, who? Okay.
Yeah.
You want to report on what Mike said?
No, not this.
You want David? Yes, he did.
Where's that? Where?
Dudley's, Bradley's is his employer. Love that place. That's a good too.
Yeah.
The only one that Mike talked to me about is, Matt Bisden, which I said, said his dad's name, which makes me, shows you where my head's at. Matt knows the equipment and what else did he say?
He said he mows with the same mower at the school.
Yeah.
He's already,
And the reason he put me down for reference is that he worked on my electrical store, which is why he put me down for reference.
His work ethic and just stuff I know. that
Well, I
he's-
suppose if I.
And everybody else is.
Nolan says he was knee high to the grass. He's good people.
It's in my class.
I can only do that like a couple.
Do
I don't
we?
tree kick it around.
I don't even keep it around either. And
He doesn't.
I kinda wish Mike was here, but
Yeah. And for what it's worth, that was one of his top too. so
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I talked to him about it earlier.
so did I.
Do we need to interview?
You don't, you're not required to.
I know, Matt. I mean, that's,
No.
No, I'm
I
down.
don't know what I'd ask him. Hey, how you doing? It's been a while.
How's it been?
Now, yeah. How are you? Cool.
I've been to a Turkish Christmas.
Stop right there.
Do we have a
Go
rate?
the next one.
Was it determined already?
Yeah, you guys did in the last meeting. It's in the minutes. It was
$11 an hour, 20 hours a
11,
week.
yeah.
$7 an hour.
20 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay.
16 years or older, $11 an hour, 20 hours a week.
One thing that was a concern, let's say our person, whoever we choose, doesn't matter. They're mowing, they're at their 19th and a half hour, but they still have 2 hours left to work. Are we gonna allow them a little leeway to just finish the damn job and move on? Even though they went over.
To me, 20's guidance. It's not like a hard and fast rule. And I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I would say
You're
there's
only
Doing
worried,
40.
yeah, you're worried about 40,
Yeah.
41, you're not worried about 20.
Yeah, that's,
Well-
no, that's a different thing, yeah. That's
That was a
correct.
concern that Mike and I were talking about, and I just want to bounce it off everybody here, make sure that if it's convenient to do a couple more during the week, nobody's gonna have an issue with it.
Yeah,
Because the motion was for up to 20 hours. So to make the lawyers happy, you know how they can be.
Well, he just said as long as you go up to 41.
Yeah, I'd give it a
Well,
lot of
you guys
leeway
didn't
there.
even, you guys didn't even make a motion. It just said the council stated they wanted to advertise. So there's
Well,
no
and I don't know
even-
about capers either. If that's, isn't like 32 like a full-time on capers or 27 and a half or so.
No, I think it's 32. I
I
thought.
thought your policy would determine that, not capers. I mean, you're
Well,
control that.
And I don't know if at some point we have to start paying into capers because whoever we hire would be eligible for that to happen. And I know that's
As a
been,
teacher, he would get capers too, so he has an account.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, and that, yeah.
I would think it would be in our system, because like part-time, I mean, they just don't pay capers. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I don't know what the percentage is. I mean, maybe it's nominal enough that we're, okay, well, whatever, just pay the capers and be done with it. But I don't know. I know that's been a concern before, so I wanted to bring it up. But
How much an hour? $11?
11.
That's what you guys said last time.
Well, I'll move to approve hiring Matthew Bisnet at $11 an hour for around $20 hours a week.
Just say part-time.
Part-time. Well, around 20 hours a week allows him the extra.
I'll second.
All in favor of hiring Matt Bisnet for groundskeeper? 1, 2, 3.
I'm
All-
abstaining.
And he's abstaining.
I'm just-
And we will hold on to this section.
Yeah.
You've got copies, right?
Yes.
256 Ponderosa Dock permit request.
So these next two are things that were tabled from the last meeting. You guys said about this meeting. So they did reach out to me today. So this is the original one that you guys were talking about, and then I let them know in email. As you can see, you guys were concerned about whether or not they had enough property and whether it was better suited on their own property rather than ours. So like they said, they want it closer to the dock because it's not practical due to the slope and terrain from our yard. And then they kind of took pictures for you guys.
Who went out there and looked at it?
That'd be me.
Mr.
I went out there too. Is there plenty of land for them to have a patio, not on our property?
Up in their backyard, above the trees, it's a steep climb from that dock, and you can see the stairs. They go up to their backyard, and then they have like a leveled off backyard. I thought they said they even have a deck up there in their backyard already. You
Yeah,
can
I
see in
think
the
so.
photo where that tree is right behind their house. There's some area there that definitely, I don't know where the property line is or whatever. I walked right in between those two houses there to go down there and see the non-permitted kayak sitting right next to this dock. Actually, it's sitting where they want to build the deck.
So I saw that as well.
You just see the pontoon right next door that's not permitted.
I must have been out. No.
I didn't see any numbers on the dock either, which I'm guessing they got a letter from us.
Twice, didn't we? Have we sent two
The
letters?
first one
We've sent
was
two
on the
letters.
dock fee, and then the next one was its own personal letter.
So the retaining wall,
if you approve it, can make it
do
continue.
they pay for that?
Or something. Original dog. Sorry, I cut you off.
Do they pay for that retaining wall, Stephanie?
You flipped too far.
Got that?
Whoops.
There you go.
Let me go see.
Well,
They
that-
paid for.
Yeah.
It looks fairly new,
Yeah, that's what the pictures are in the packet. That you guys taking them or?
and I really
No.
thought we weren't allowing that. I mean,
Yeah, gosh, I don't know.
my question is, just hypothetically say that we allowed them to be doing retaining walls clear along the line of the shoreline. And it then over a period of time, it dilapidates and starts crumbling into the lake. And then they change house owners. And the next owner says, yeah, I really don't want to maintain any of that. Then that becomes our responsibility to maintaining all of those retaining walls because they're on our property,
It's
right?
just on
They do
property.
not pay for it.
Tearing
This
them
is
out,
different.
upkeep,
Yeah.
restoring, all of
One or
that
the other
becomes
probably, yeah.
our problem. If one owner, if it changes owners and they decide they don't want to spend the $38,000 to fix the retaining wall around the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would come, I think that would come
Right
with
there.
selling the house,
Right
that
there.
you are aware that you're responsible for that, so.
But we have nothing saying that is because it's our property and they
There's
only
rules
pay us
about-
for 100 whatever a year to have stuff on our personal shoreline property.
We allow some landscaping, right? I mean, we allow trees and stuff and like that. I don't know if you've ever allowed retaining walls or anything.
I don't remember
Is this retaining wall paid
specifically
for?
adjusting it
Do
outside
they
the
pay for this
lawsuit.
retaining wall?
No, this is different.
That's what you-
That's the
No.
next, no, that's not.
Like
what
among
it is. That's
things, but.
all that.
We did online.
Right.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that says that
That's my thought.
And-
at any particular
And-
time
No, we're on the first.
that they
No,
assume
that's
that
everything right
they're
now.
on duty.
The cedar shake that was clean gray, right?
The structures,
No.
I mean, ultimately,
You're asking me.
Well, we always have the right to tear it out.
Well, even-
Our property and protect it.
that's kind of a private condition.
Well, if you tear it out, the
But this is
erosion
it
that
right
would have
here.
happened
This is
anyway,
not
eroding
big
into the
difference.
lake.
No,
that-
this is Hans, HAN,
Right.
This
I
is-
don't know.
They just have a little dock there with a boat on the side,
yes.
with
And
those
they
two
just-
kayaks that are non-permitted.
Mhm.
And they want
There's the other
someplace,
side of them.
and
Not
they want
permitted on that side
someplace
either.
to be able to sit and look out at the lake, right? Cause it's too steep.
I'm just saying,
Is
you
there,
don't have to have a year permit. Just because you live at the lake.
No. My initial thought was,
why not?
why can't they just make their dock bigger because they're not taking full advantage of the 20 by 24 and that would give them the additional space. But in a way, I can kind of see where they're wanting to do, just have that additional platform that's up off the water. It sounds like they're willing to pay an extra structure fee for it. So I don't know. I've just kind of,
Yeah, to me,
I am very on the fence about it.
it seems
sorry.
like watch your kids swimming, have a picnic space. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm not involved in all
Are there
that.
more trees up in there where they've got access to more shade in that area? So then instead of being out in the sun on the water,
Yeah,
you're close to the water, but if
They
it's
did
their
say-
only option for being there because of the
Well,
rain.
and even though they have property up there, isn't in fact that they said they couldn't, because of the trees and stuff, they're the ones
Well-
who couldn't see. But this allows them to enjoy the lake, and that's what they're talking about.
okay.
So this is.
Yeah, that is.
Looking at
But
it.
my thing is, if you're buying property and then coming to us to put your stuff on our property when you clearly know it's not your property, and we are trying to discourage that, I thought, from having decks and patios and all types of stuff around our shoreline. Is that not what we've been trying to do? Or are we just gonna
No,
let it be a free-for-all so you
That's
can have
what I would-
patios and
I
decks
think
and
that-
everything else on our shoreline? And we're gonna litter it all up.
The policy is your choice if they go there.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Brett, and I know that you don't want a Chinatown and stuff like that.
And
But they pay a lot of money for that property and they can't enjoy it because it's up there behind the trees. and
I
they
know,
can't
but they
enjoy
buy
the
that
lake.
house knowing that that's not their property.
And they
And
want to
then
put a
that
little
is
deck
that is the most primo property spot is the shoreline, which, I mean, if
Which
we
we're
go
not
and
gonna do anything
restructure
with.
the amount that we charge them per year for it by the property value of what their property is to what it is for ours, then I might be able to entertain some stuff. But it's gonna raise what it is because it does not benefit us. It only benefits them personally.
I'd like to know what the property taxes would be if they put that on. their own
Correctly.
property.
So like, if their property value is worth $500,000 for that happening house, then our primo shoreline that they have to cross to get to the lake has to be worth more than $100 a year to have a permanent thing on our property. I find it hard pressed that anybody out at that lake would turn around and let the city, if they own the shoreline, put something on their shoreline
You're
for
real good at
$100.
hypotheticals.
There.
You are.
Sure.
What the heck?
But I know where you're going. Yeah.
No,
I don't know. But I mean, yeah, we had that conversation when we raised the lake fees. It's like, holy crap, guys. I know what, know we're talking about raising $20, but
A year.
what's it cost for a freaking square foot out there? I mean, it's,
Are you buying it from the city or are you buying it from a homeowner?
Because
it's
if
a
it's-
hell of a lot more if you buy
If
it
it's
from
a homeowner, you're
Yeah.
gonna be paying ridiculous amounts. If it's us, they wanted $1 a square foot, which is you can't even get that here in the city limits of
We
Eskridge.
don't have
where
to
we
sell that,
discussed
we
that
don't
the
have to
property
sell
values
that
are in
shoreline
the
at $1 a foot.
So,
Well,
I mean,
Sold other property for
Yep.
$1 per
Yeah, I know that.
that's our reference, right?
no, it
It
was
was-
just last year.
it
We've
was
just
like
done several
2 years
properties in the last year that we've sold
Whether
for
those
$1.
odd
that would've
cases
been-
you're talking about, right? The little.
Yeah, the one
Yeah, like a
Years.
triangle,
Yeah.
whatever.
But still, if
They
we
were
were
already
to go to him and
maintaining
you
it
want
was
that
so close to
1,200
the
square foot, would it be $1,200 or would it be 12,000 or more?
More.
Yeah, exactly more.
I mean,
The thing is they all know the deal.
The thing is, we
Buyer
can be
beware.
nice and let them have a living space where they can enjoy their property, and it doesn't hurt us a bit. God, I swear, I know I'm a bleeding heart. I don't care.
You are a bleeding heart.
You betcha I am. I'm proud of it.
But I
too.
mean,
We're gonna get $125.
we don't have
for
money
that.
to maintain things at the lake. So if we're going to fairly
We got money
let
to
them put
maintain
stuff on, then
Thousand
we need
Lake.
to restructure what that property value is worth and raise our rates to what it is, which is exactly what they pay for their houses and the yards that are on the opposite side of our property line. That's all I'm saying. Does that not
You
make
sound-
sense, Tom?
Yeah, you sound very
it
greedy.
makes sense.
It makes really
That's
good
exactly
sense.
how everything
Yeah.
works, is it not?
Well, and in that method, I mean, it's all
Except the
about,
way that Eskridge does.
yeah, it depends on, I mean, the multiplier is always a question. Obviously, the county doesn't charge full vote.
Here, line it up for that.
They value it when they tax it.
And they gladly
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
$5,000-$6,000.
You realize how bad people feel about us out there, and they used to be interested in Eskridge, they used to wanna help.
I'm
us
not
apart.
interested in bowing down to make them feel
I'm
good
not
about us
interested
or
in being
me.
greedy and being nasty and wanting to get
It's not
every
being
time we
greedy and
can
nasty.
out of the rich people.
It's not being greedy and nasty. It is. It's
Yeah.
common sense, is what it is.
Good business.
It's good business, and the city of Eskridge. Let's not forget,
We don't
is
do
a
anything for the
business
city
to
of
make
Eskridge,
money.
are we?
not lose money, and
Really?
make decisions to not.
You're gonna take care of Eskridge now? All right.
Would they pay dock fees on this?
Yes.
Maybe I don't
They pay
know,
structure
whatever it
fees.
is.
They pay the $100. They pay less than $10 a month to have a permanent structure of some type on our primo shoreline.
Yeah.
Or 125,
They're not
I
just
can't remember.
cheap.
Yeah, but,
It's material.
So we do get
yeah.
something, it's just not a lot.
But like I said, in 10 years, if that thing is settling and cracking and it changes owners, it's now our responsibility to either, if the next people don't want to maintain that, then it's our responsibility to maintain it or remove it because it's already there, which costs us money,
Or nice.
hours.
Can we turn it back to them and say, you gotta take it out now?
You don't have an agreement.
We don't have an agreement like that.
If it's a-
We'd have to go back on all the agreements for all the structures that are already littering everywhere out there.
So if somebody just lets their dog rat, can we take?
And then you run into,
But
you have
eventually
public
you'll end up like a
access
nuisance
spots
property.
that people can
Yeah,
go
it's like a
down to
rotten
use,
house.
and they're not
Yeah.
gonna want people to
They're
be
not
walking
tearing
on
it
their
out.
stuff when they have it. If people wanna walk down to our shoreline, public accesses and walk around the shoreline, they won't want people
Like
to be
there,
walking
all
on it.
those people doing that too.
There's people that want to do it.
You need to go out there and look for yourself. I
I
witnessed
guess
it
I
again
would.
just a couple nights ago. I
Was
witnessed
they
it a couple
walking
nights
all the way
ago.
around the lake or just on a
I
certain
didn't
piece of it?
follow them, but
Dolly, I would
people
feel
walk
more
around the
comfortable
dock
listening
out
to your
of
argument if you would have taken the time to drive out there and look at it, okay? But you didn't. We did, okay? So
I
what?
can't go down on that property. I cannot
Yeah,
just
kinda
go down there anymore.
An old
The
gray
only way I
fat
can look
man
at that
shouldn't
is
be
if
walking
I'm in a
full
boat.
when young people are on the lake.
You're wearing your kilt. That's all I want to know.
Ask them if they've been to a Turkish prison.
Okay, make a motion or don't make a motion.
I move
and
to
let's get
deny.
it done.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to deny it and it's been seconded. All in favor? 2. All opposed? All,
Was that in
Yeah.
favor?
was that,
I'm in favor.
okay, all opposed?
I guess I'm opposed, honestly.
Are you
I said I
abstaining?
was on the fence before, I'm still on the fence.
So
Okay, so
you're
it's
abstaining. All right, three.
Okay, Tim, Brett, and Brad.
311.
And me
And
opposed.
abstaining.
Okay.
Okay. All right, now we're going to look at
Next one.
224 Westwood Hills Drive structure permit request, which we approved in 2017.
I had no idea. And he
Well,
didn't mention
remember,
it.
it was approved, they did not construct it, right?
Right.
So if you don't construct something according to the ordinance, your permit is void after 6 months.
Okay, that's what
That's
I,
what I thought.
Well,
that's what I
that's
thought
what they came
too,
back in.
and I didn't know for sure.
The confusing thing about this one to me is this property owner has 2 docks, and this patio is not in front of dock A or dock B. Well, if you look,
They did.
you see the photo I'm on here?
This is from the first app. The pictures are from the 2017.
If you look at the photo, it shows the table and chairs, and off to the left, you see a boathouse.
Mhm.
That boathouse is their second dock. If you scoot over down the shoreline a little bit farther, is their first little dock, which is just, the flat thing, because, you can only beef up one of them if you have 2. But what I thought was kind of hard to really understand what you're looking at. Where's the other picture? I thought there was another photo. Oh, here we go. Okay, the one's taken here where you see the little stone steps. These stone steps, which is really, really close to this patio, doesn't go to their dock. It goes to the dock next door. We walked back and forth, and it almost feels like, now I know this isn't the homeowner's property, but if the homeowner's property, if you drew a line all the way down to the water's edge, I feel like this is on the neighbor's property. So they're wanting their patio. And I understand why, because this is one of the flatter spots there. And there's a great big oak tree up here that shades that area, because I happened to be there in the evening, and
You wanna look at this top?
it was a beautiful area. But I just feel weird about it not being
Well,
front of
if
one of
it's
their
not
own
their
2 docks.
property, then they shouldn't be able to.
I move to deny.
Do we know that it's not their property? I guess I would like to know.
Well, we
that.
know it's not their property.
We know it's city property, it's not in front of theirs, so.
Sorry.
It's kind of,
Yes,
Yeah, that's.
Well, we got a, hold on a second, we got a motion.
I'm not trying to place the patio on the lot, it's not ours.
We got a motion on the table.
I want to be clear, I don't believe that the patio was being placed on neighbor's property.
Over on the left side, that's just all the silted in area that comes in from the ditch there, so the kids don't swim there at all, they swim over on that right-hand side there, so that's where we want to be viewing the lake.
I still move to deny the last one.
Well, we got a motion, we need a second.
we have
for
a
discussion.
motion, all right, we have a Brett has made a motion to deny. Do we have a second? We need further discussion?
Maybe. All this retaining walls, I'm sorry, is this Thad that I'm speaking with?
Is this
Yeah,
that?
this is that.
Okay,
Are you the one who put in all this retaining wall and the steps and all that?
No, I didn't put in any of the retaining wall steps, everything was there when I,
Who's paying for that, Stephanie?
that was there when you
Anybody?
bought the property?
correct.
Okay,
Whose dock is that those steps lead to?
That would be Jim Meinhardt's dock. The property line kind of comes off just close to where those steps are. And we can move it back, a couple of feet if that's a concern.
Can you move it back to your property line? Cause you have a huge yard.
where's the city property line? Is it right here?
Oh, that's what I don't know. The GIS thing.
Here, I'll get it up.
Because he does have a ginormous yard, one of the biggest yards out there.
Exactly.
224?
Point out where he's trying to put it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
down,
224
On
west.
this side.
But no, it's
big
down
oak
by
tree
that,
there,
that corner of
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
he wants to put it right in this vicinity.
okay,
These two are his docks, and this is his house and all of his property right in here.
okay.
And all of that.
That's Meinhardt's, I take it,
Yes.
like to the south, okay,
And that's Meinhardt's cabin.
okay. I mean,
So all of this land is theirs.
But those two docks are theirs, right there.
This one is not where they want to
So
put
it's
it.
Not real far from their dock though. He's saying the kids swim in that area is the reason they want to put the patio there.
Line and everything that we're talking about is in that lot. I know I know the city owns the first 100 and however many feet there. It's not over on Meinhardt's. If that's what, I can't tell what you guys are looking at, but if that's what you're asking about. We just want to be down there as close as where the kids are swimming at and be as close to the water. And, you know, it's the flattest area right there versus up on top of the hill.
This is where it's at.
This is a dock of his,
Left
this
one.
is a dock of
Right
his,
one.
this is Meinhardt's dock. Right here's where he wants to put it.
All waiting for that one.
All this land, yeah, there's his house. I'm gonna second the motion.
To deny.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion to deny this, and a second. All in favor? Tim and Brett. All opposed to the motion? Is that a hill there, Seth? Is your lawn, is that steep or what?
Hold on, so is that?
Well, I don't know.
We just have, Brad's thinking.
I'm mistaken.
You're
That's
abstaining?
abstaining.
So we're,
So that's
So-
a tie.
so that's a tie.
The vote, I gotta remember now, the vote, I think the vote counts in favor of the motion. If it's an abstention. If I'm not mistaken.
Sorry to make it tough on you.
Yeah.
I hate that rule,
Tim second.
but that is the question, is if it's a tie, it's gonna have to be one of two things. Either Dolly's gonna have to break it, or it's gonna be, I don't think Dolly breaks it. I think it's, the abstention counts in favor.
Well, then what ties do I break?
On
If there
ordinances.
is,
If there's not an abstention, if there's only 4 people here.
Well, no, if there's a tie on an ordinance too, I mean, that would be the normal time. But let's see what the code says.
Okay.
That's what we have, a city code.
I would just think it would die for lack of a majority vote. We'll see how an abstention would add to the
it's politics.
motion, but
Do you have the code of procedure for Kansas City?
There's so much room
It's a
there.
small booklet, it's about
Building
that
deck
big.
on your own
There
property.
is more than anybody
It
else.
looks like
has.
one of those
Literally.
UPCs.
Well, I have a
That's
question.
not
Is
an
there an
exaggeration.
incline? Why is it, is there an incline there? Is it an uphill or something or what?
It's all on a hill.
On the hill. But they want to close down the water so they can watch it.
Well, they can put it on the other side of that tree on their own property.
it's pavers,
This
it's
is a
not
can
even
of
permanent
worms that
concrete,
probably
that's
open
where I'm
up.
coming
But
from.
it's that exact thing that McGivers wanted to do, be close to the water. And
You're talking
look
about
what we
the left
did.
sidewalk.
So now we're completely going against. And it's the very next thing on the agenda.
Then McGivers put an oversized sidewalk on it.
So
And,
the mayor shall have the tie-breaking vote.
But for the
on all
same
questions
reason.
Wait a minute.
when the members present are equally divided. Okay, so if if the abstention doesn't count, if the abstention is a 0, then you have a tiebreaker. If the abstention is a vote in favor,
Did you get a picture of this?
Pardon?
Did you get a picture of this?
Is that the trees they want cut?
No,
It is.
I don't think I took any photos of that.
this.
Okay.
No.
Hey, it does say paper
don't
patio. Okay, that's what I'm kind of basing mine on is papers.
No,
Those are
okay.
more permanent.
Here,
Remove paper's pretty easy.
Right about here is a
With the
line
shovel.
of yellow flags. 'Cause they
Yeah,
have like a
papers
gas
Yeah,
line
the,
that's
yeah, the
in
grass isn't
there.
growing,
And I'm
but the
standing
grass will
about right
come
here.
back.
looking
You're talking
towards the
about
water.
Papers
And
in
that's
there?
how
That's just paper.
Land
So if it was a
is.
concrete pad, I would probably be more opposed to it, but
You see the yellow flag right here?
papers,
Got all that land down there. This is
It's
big
not a
dock, and you can
permanent-
See the little dock.
Yeah.
it's kind of
It's-
semi-permanent,
it's
but it's
But
not
this is the
permanent
mine
enough
dock.
to
And
be.
there's a
But
tree.
you're okay with other people wanting to do the exact
All
same
this
thing
freaking
all
gravel.
around the lake at every dock and option that they have? Because how do you differentiate?
And then I turn around.
They sit there
Took the
anyway, so I mean,
picture
what's the
towards his
difference
house.
between sitting on a level piece
That'll
of
give you an
ground and
idea
sitting on
how
a
far
level,
that direction.
level
Because
paper?
in order to do a patio, you're gonna have to put a foundation in of some type of rock and stone. You have to put sand on top of that, and then the patio's off of that. So when you pull the patio blocks off, you're still gonna have the
Crazy
huge amounts of sand plus the compacted stone and whatever that they put for the base of the thing, and then that is changing the shoreline.
I don't know, I was thinking more of laying it right on top of the ground, although I realize leveling.
If you
would have
very,
to be
to
done,
very
but-
frank with the walls being there and stuff, that kind of changes shore, that
Give
would change
you
the
some of the
shoreline.
visual. I'm standing almost in the middle of this backyard. This is up towards his house. And that's towards the lake. This is his big dock, his little dock.
And it's not
there's
like a
mine.
mountain hill. It's not that steep.
No, it's definitely not as steep as some other parts of the lake.
Oh, yeah, there's
just discussed.
A lot worse places for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's enough that they mowed the whole thing.
Yeah.
come
But
on.
if you do one for one, what's your reasoning for not
I
the
just-
other?
This part, they've already torn up the shoreline with this sidewalk that's been installed before they ever moved in. To me, that's the,
So do we continue it or do we stop it? That's the thing.
Okay, here's.
Yeah.
the-
and I don't think we're asking for.
There's his two docks. There's a sidewalk that shoots off and then right back here it curves and goes towards mine.
Okay.
There's looking back up towards his house, which is way up there.
Okay, but is this ours or this?
Well, there's a point, I'm not sure exactly where, we're probably about here where these shrubs are. That is the line from ours to his.
And then, but like this side of the sidewalk, would that be ours still? I guess is my question.
Well, the distance from the shoreline, of course,
Okay.
but,
This says what I think it says. Back.
I mean, if you can
back up
find
in his yard.
a space that's not, then
Tell you how many
I
times.
suppose that would work better.
For everybody's got a lot of space.
And I have yet to be able to break anything because.
I wish I had that much yard.
Well, I understand. I have a feeling from 1 to 12. Like you say, it's a short window, but my window's 20 years long here.
I just wish that more people besides Tim and I would have went out to look at it. That's just,
Frankly, if I'd gone
we
up to look
tabled
at
it
it,
at
I
the
would have.
last meeting for that very thing to happen.
You look
And
at
now not
that,
even half of
and
us
you look
even
at what's
took the
already
time to
there,
go
that
out and
wall
do
is
it.
already there.
We have an
And
answer.
what? Oh, yeah.
The answer is that the common law rule is that an abstention counts in favor of the motion.
That's what I always
The
thought.
there's a state statute that changes that for passage of ordinances. It's specific to state ordinances, it doesn't say any action. Therefore, by common law rule, the motion passes by 3-2.
So if
Motion
there
is
was,
denied.
if there was 4 people here, that counts different. So an abstention having somebody in the room has a different effect than somebody.
Well, I mean, if the abstainer was not here, and it wasn't a tie vote. Okay, so if
Yeah,
I
that's
wasn't
what I'm
here,
saying, yeah.
and there's just 4 of you and 2 and 2, then tie break. But since the
So I-
abstention,
I'm not gonna argue, but yeah, to me, I mean, having an extension is the same thing as like, hey guys, I'm gonna go leave for 5 minutes and go get something to drink, but and let the vote take place while you're away. But I am not the legal person, so.
If I understand what he just said, I want to clear this up because I think he said something different than what I believe he said. If there's 4 people and it's 2-2, and if Brad had left the room, then she gets to break the tie.
That's what I'm trying to say.
He did not vote. He was not eligible.
Since he was here and he abstained, then he has to go with whatever the motion was.
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is.
No, I don't.
I'm still learning how to do this.
It's common law rule.
Apparently so is Todd.
Yeah.
I don't like the rule, but there it is.
Okay, so moving forward,
Did he hear?
That,
What?
yeah, the motion was 2 for, 2 against, and because it was an abstention with a person here, the motion goes with, the decision goes with the motion.
So it's denied.
Denied.
So it was denied. I'm sorry.
But if somebody had not abstained or wasn't there, then it would have been a tie.
Would have been a tie, and then the mayor could have
And then
voted.
I could have voted, yeah.
If it can get back on the agenda again and everybody would have voted instead of abstained, then it could have had an opportunity to pass then, like it did a couple years ago.
That's 2 years ago, so why are we doing that?
2
Well,
years
because-
ago, I believe nobody went out and looked at the property.
that's
besides
exactly
the-
right.
All of us were supposed to look at it
Let's
this time.
let's get it clear.
Wait a
2 years ago, if you got an approved permit, you did not build it within 6 months, it is void. So there is no 2 years ago. That is zero relevance to the question.
Okay. But I legally, I agree with you. Fundamentally, I don't, but I'm with you.
Thank you.
Thad, are you still there?
McKibben's lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, it's our lawsuit.
That
Yeah.
is what it says.
This
Well,
got, I just got
I
this,
didn't want to put it, sorry.
yeah, it's a letter from them regarding, possible settlement. I required to provide to my client all reasonable offers of settlement.
+19137068422 is now exiting.
I'll tell you this, I talked to the attorney who sent this, Kevin Grabberger, who obviously represents them. There was an indication that Mr. McGivern and his spouse were no longer able to use the property due to age to its maximum advantage, and their desire is to sell it. And they asked again what would be appropriate, and I believe I indicated quite clearly to Mr. McGivern's counsel that while a reduction in the size of the dock may result in a better situation, I wasn't going to guarantee approval, but I was going to say, the size of the dock is a problem on its own, but I said the shoreline setup is not going to work.
Suing us is also a problem.
And, well, they didn't sue us.
Correct.
They didn't sue us, we sued them.
Oh, okay. All right.
But they didn't remove
I'll
it when they
retract
asked.
it then. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I said, I thought that the shoreline
Trespass.
cement area needed to be completely removed.
Do they think they're moving with threatening?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, this is what I received back, so I am obviously eager for any input you'd have as far as if you wish to accept this.
I think they should remove it all.
Yeah, no, I haven't changed my mind either.
Done deal.
I move to
Well,
to remove it all.
yeah, I don't think there's a motion. Unless you want me to make a counter offer?
I can make a counter offer. That's
No.
the difference. No need for a counter
I
offer.
think we've already made the offer.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that Justin?
Yeah.
This letter is so misleading. That's what irritates me is he says that he got it approved to build the sidewalk and he just, well, I need to make it wider, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. That's not the case.
She denied
He
3
didn't even
times.
get it approved. It was never approved to begin with. So, no, going back to the point that we've never reached before, that's not something I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I don't see any.
It was never. we
Yeah,
never did
I
that.
scan everything I deal with. It doesn't come up.
So I don't understand. I didn't think it was gonna be any different. I just wanted to, you guys gotta know what's going on.
Do you need a motion in a second? Or?
No, I understand what you're saying. I think I can forward that. If I had a groundswell otherwise, I would know it too, so don't worry. They will, that is to tell you where it goes from here. They got a little extra time to answer the petition now because the motion to dismiss is now disposed of, so they've got to answer it. We'll go through the regular process. I mean, it's going to be an impairment to the process of selling the property, most likely. But that's why you get a permit.
Yeah, that's on them. That's.
Smaller.
Okay, well, I can respond to that. That's fine. So if there's anything else, that was the only thing that we need to really cover on that subject.
Okay. All right, while you're here, Todd, we talked in the past about a trailer that's blocking an alleyway behind Foster's and behind the hotel. It's an alleyway that had been there for years and people had access from both ends. And did you or did you not didn't we talk about the fact that there should be, that should be allowed that people go in and out of there to get off that alley? And if not, then do we need to do eminent domain and claim back some of that
Okay, well,
property?
No, I don't know. You need a picture?
It is.
Is it
Yeah.
private property or is it an alley?
Yeah, that's the question.
I thought it was
Back
private
in
property.
back in the day, before the co-op was built, there was a street there, and then the co-op was built.
The alley that goes behind your house is actually
Oh,
a piece of that is actually property of
So
actually
this is the
2
alley she's talking
pieces of
about.
that is
Okay.
actually co-op property.
Where's,
And the people
So
that own the
this is
little
where
shed
It's
that
blocking
Carol Cross used to own, they live at the
right
lake.
on that
They
line.
own the front half of that
Which
alley. 'Cause
they're
it's not,
blocking,
your
actually.
alley is not an
But
actual
that's not-
alley,
that's
it's
their
actually
drive.
private
That is
property.
didn't know that.
As well as the
I
one that
mean-
dumps off there. But I'm glad Dolly brought up the safety value of ambulance and stuff getting through the alleys, because I have a list of alleys that I'll have at a meeting that we should probably maintain for that very purpose of safety reasons. Several up here at this. So
well, from what I'm looking at here on the map, there's an alleyway in there that is dedicated as an alley, meaning it's a public way. I'm assuming that the lines would not be there if it had been vacated. And the trailer is on private property at the end of the alley, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe there's any, short of condemning a access through there, I think they're entitled to use that property because we don't have, that public way ends right there. I mean, if it went through or extended on, where you made it connect up with the road, by condemning it, maybe so, but right now, it's private property,
I thought this was addressed a while back.
Yeah, I thought we'd close this
I
one.
mean,
that alleyway actually isn't very well maintained, and for safety reasons for
The,
ambulance and fire
The
trucks, it probably
trash
should have some
truck
gravel
goes
hauled in
down
it.
there and and then it has to back onto the street where there's, they said that it's not good. They have not good sight.
well, they don't have the right to go on people's property. I mean, it's not a public drive past that line. Just a fact.
even though it was for all those years.
I don't know what it was for all those years. What, this, you were talking about going 20 feet in there or something?
Literally, yeah. There used to be a co-op there, and actually people used to drive through there, and because of the insurance issue with the rodeo, they asked for that, half of that road to be closed, and then Gary inherited or bought, did he buy that land, or
The
did
alley
he
behind my house,
rent?
that straight one,
Well, never
is
mind.
that what you're talking about? Might have done that.
And so, okay, so,
Why is it an alley then?
and
I don't know that we
I
have.
don't understand why they would have.
How long has it been blocked by that
the
trail?
alleyway?
since the last rodeo when he got mad.
Okay.
No, it was actually blocked off months before that. I mean, if we're gonna be completely honest, people were traipsing through the private property. So,
Well,
nobody, I mean, Dolly, do you
that
want me to
was
come down
behind
and
the
do property?
bleacher, right? Wasn't that
The
behind
only
bleachers what we're talking
methodology I
about?
know of other than that is adverse possession prescription, which, I mean, I don't know that we've established a use long enough to do that. And it's, I don't know, the public can get, it's just, I just think it's too difficult. It's too difficult to establish that as a public way right now, absent condemning it.
Well, then as far as I'm concerned, then I'll tell that to landowners, and if they want to pursue it, they can.
I didn't know
yeah.
that one wasn't an alley.
Right,
On the other side.
that's actually private property
Yeah,
too,
it is.
of the same owner.
Wow.
This one?
Yeah.
Walking the alley
Third
itself
Street?
or what? Like, I
What is
don't
it?
know.
I think it is.
What's the thing?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like an property, holy cow.
Yeah.
Because that's actually, I mean,
This
somewhat.
So hold on, is it alleyway behind my house?
Behind your
This-
house, no.
Yes.
Is it my property?
Your house
No, it's the
is-
rodeos.
It's the
Oh,
rodeos?
yeah, it's just, you don't, yeah.
It's
They
the
own
rodeos.
that.
That is
on the
some
other
crap
side.
right there.
But
But
on
your
down,
neighbors.
that's the co-op.
Why did they,
So the
how
land
did that
there,
get sectioned off in that
where
manner?
that
Because
tree
now I
is,
got
so
everybody in my
all around there,
backyard.
so all
You wanna
of
talk
this
about
actually is the
trespassing.
co-op down here.
I imagine maybe if you look back at
That's
the original
crazy.
plat of the
But
town,
actually,
there was probably
this
alleys
and
set
this
somewhere close to
and
that.
all of
think
that.
that's
I bet it
alley.
was an alley, and I
This
bet
isn't
they
an alley
changed hands
either.
a few
Yeah,
times.
maybe. Yeah, that could be another
That's what
thing.
I was told.
What's
Okay.
that?
Well, they told me,
I don't know enough about
and
it.
what I
Drive or
was,
something.
yeah, I was told that the roads and stuff were put there, and then the railroad changed it some, so they built
So
the
your-
co-op
does
to
your
go
dad
along
on
with
that
the
side too?
railroad.
I'll tell them I'll
And
make
so
a
people
picture or
kept,
something.
were able to
Please don't
use
put a
the
trailer
alley
on that
because
one.
it came out on the co-op.
There's no
Get
easy
stuck in my
answer to that, but
My
I think it still
driveway.
sticks.
On the
Private
road, so-
property can't do much.
Really yelled at me at the road
Before
one year
we
because he
adjourn, can I point
pulled
one
his
quick thing out,
hands
please?
back into our yard.
Mhm.
It's coming from the
Walking
lake
into our
and right when you
driveway.
get to town, up at the top of the hill there by the water tower.
So he got like
A whole bunch of
sunburn.
trash laying right in the middle of the road. And it's
Somebody
been
emptied
there.
out their car or something?
No, it looks like somebody was moving and a box bounced out of their truck or something. It's just miscellaneous Tupperware and clothing, a blanket. I mean, just
These
Oh,
things,
where
please don't shut my alley off.
the road up by the water tower.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
meets
ripped off
highway.
already.
And it's been there for long enough that I'm sure people have seen it.
Free
It looks
Tupperware.
hideous. No, no,
Free
it's been,
Tupperware?
it's been run
Trying to
over.
get the.
It's been run over.
No.
Oh, okay.
But that's
I
good
mean,
quality
like
Tupperware. would
slightly
work.
Blankets
Like
and
a
all that
test?
too.
Free.
Yeah, that's the seal wasn't
And I
broken.
think it's actually on the
Yeah.
city side, because didn't we?
Somebody said, I think a homeless person left it, and I said, homeless
Okay.
people don't leave
Well, just
containers.
so I go
behind.
out there and clean it up.
But you see it right when you roll into town from that direction. So.
That's what caught the corner of my eye then, because I asked Joe, I said, what was that? Was that a pail? But all I saw was an orange thing.
Yep.
And he
Yep,
said-
orange
and-
Tupperware,
Okay.
the old retro
Yeah.
orange Tupperware.
Having covered that, I moved
Hold
to the
it,
journal.
Wait a minute.
How do we speed up the process of taking care of this beach? And getting the beach better?
Well,
Mike
the-
is already on the ball. He's got
It's
hold of
working.
somebody who's gonna come in there and talk about what's gonna take for different options of replacing the wall.
Will they give us a bid and stuff? I mean,
We're looking into all of that. If we had a crystal ball, we would have done it a couple years ago during the drought, would have been perfect.
That was your crystal ball, Tim.
We should order one.
I'm gonna get an 8-ball,
But,
that right
but
there.
we're
on
looking
the
at different
table.
ways, you know, do we section
From
it
now
off so it's
on.
all dry
This
and
work.
then build the
Yeah.
wall?
I
Or
mean,
just say that?
And I vote
What I
yes.
suggest is we do it the way Target built their distribution center, where they ordered these great big old slabs of concrete, and they just slid right down inside of each other, and they just lowered them all. Put a few sections like that.
Did we have other things
I don't
to
know.
discuss?
We do not. I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Here.
Tim, could you stay for a minute?
Yeah.
You want me to lock up since I can't do the whole block?
No, I can. Are you gonna be like?
Oh, no, I want to just talk to him. We
I have to
do
say, it
the
was
song
actually
thing,
really
and I
nice to
can't
see
type
everybody
that.
after.
This was a long conversation.
Was it nice? Was it?
Annie, you're really the only person I've seen.
Go ahead.
And you guys go through
You stay down there, I'm gonna take this off.
Yeah.
Was it, haven't you really
I can
seen
do
you?
that.
Sitting at home in my.
Other
pajamas,
than meetings, I guess.
Been able to make that.
I almost left our names switched around. They got turned around, Tim.